books. A lot of people read his books in high school, but for some reason we never did. At least in the US they do. I imagine he wouldn't be as popular for high school reading outside the US because he dealt with a lot of like old California. Yeah, East of Eden. I just read it for the first time this year, Quagadado, and I think that might be my favorite book I read this year. I read that all the way back in January.
It feels not that long ago, but yet it is.
We're almost into January again.
I know it doesn't. It doesn't. It feels like I've only just like because I started last year in January with a different job, and I'm with like my previous job. It doesn't feel that long ago that when I left it. Like it doesn't feel real that it's going to be January again.
Yeah. You read Steinbeck because California. Yeah, because he was in Salinas. I believe in East of Eden, he actually mentions people in the town with the last name of Steinbeck, which I think was implied to be his relatives. Which I thought was kind of cool. Cannery Row, I actually only just read a couple weeks ago. Cannery Row and the sequel, Sweet Thursday. I didn't know until after I finished Cannery Row that it had a sequel. I was like, oh, let's go. Yeah, those are shorter books, so I did them within a couple days of each other. But yeah, I went through, like I said, I did 12 books this year. A few of them were shorter books, but I also had some longer books, so it kind of evened itself out.
You probably did like one a month then at that rate, which is not bad.
You would think so, but but there was a couple times where it's like I haven't read in a couple months, and then I read two books in a month.
It happens though. I think I did that this year as well. Like I read constantly at the beginning of the year. Then I think during like towards like the middle of that summertime, I kind of slowed down a bit. Then I picked it back up when we went on holiday in October.
Favorite short book was
You've got to.
Animal Farm. I have not read that one. I can tell you my list though. My list in order. I have The Stranger by Albert Camus. Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. At the Mountain of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Siddhartha by Herman Hesse. Hesse? I don't know how to say it. Dune by Frank Herbert, followed by Dune Messiah. Of Mice and Men, John Steinbeck. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and The Girl Who Played with Fire by Stieg Larsson. And then I had Cannery Row and Sweet Thursday by John Steinbeck. So yeah, I read 4 Steinbeck books this year.
As soon as you mention Of Mice and Men, it just brings back GCSEs, and I hated it.
What's wrong with the Mice and Men?
Oh, I just did not like it.
What didn't you like about Of Mice and Men? I'm actually
When
surprised you guys had that for reading. I'm assuming you read it for school.
yeah, GCSEs.
Wait, what?
GCSEs.
GCSEs? What's that?
It's a
Yeah.
term for exams over here.
Ah.
So I did that for my English literature. Was that book and Blood Brothers, and both books I hated because both again with sad endings, and I hate books with sad endings.
Ah.
I like a nice happy ending because it's just like it's more satisfying.
Well, that's gonna
To go
get
through.
clipped out of context. If anyone's wondering, Strange likes a nice, happy ending.
I mean, like when you go through like so much drama in a book, it's nice to end on a happy note because all the ups and down emotions you get is satisfying. But if it's like just up and down, then a sad ending, what was the whole point?
That was the whole point.
I read a book before with a sad ending with the main character. Actually, two books where the main character dies. One of them, I can't say the books now because I said the main character dies, so I'm not going to say the books just in case. Or can I say them?
I don't know. I don't know what the books are.
Okay.
You can't now tell me if it's books that I'm reading because because then I'll know.
Oh no. I didn't say who. Okay.
You just said the
First
main
set of books
character.
is the Divergent series.
Oh,
I never
Yeah.
finished that series because they didn't make
Mm.
another movie.
yeah, same. I was actually annoyed
To
about that.
fair though, the movies went way off the books. The first film,
I was still enjoying it.
it was good films, don't get me wrong, but the first film was accurate to the book. Second one veered off. Third one completely off. Like it changed quite a lot. And they wanted to make the last film, like the part two, into a series, and obviously the actors wouldn't agree with that because it'd be less money and stuff. So they never made
Oh.
it, and
Yeah.
it just kind of, it was a letdown. So I
I-
never, when I watched Divergent, I rewatched the first film, but not the other two, because I can just go without those. I can just read the books. They're
Fair.
good books, but like, yeah, the ending was sad. I can understand why she wrote it that way, but I'm like, no, happy ending.
Speaking
next-
of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, the next books I don't think anyone's ever gonna read these because actually they might do, but I think the first book's called The Young Elites. I
That's
can't
my
remember the other two
favorite series that I hadn't started yet.
books. I bought them. There's 3 books in like the works. There's like a small shop in the UK where you sometimes get books in for like £10. So I took them on holiday one year. I had no idea what they're about. Read them, and when I got to that ending, I cried. I full on cried. I was like, really? You put me through all this drama, all this, like, it was a good story. And then that ending, I was like, seriously, why?
Oh,
And I could never go over it. I got rid of those books. I couldn't look at them.
It's weird to me. I
And
don't
that's,
generally get super emotional when it comes to books, like happy or sad. Like
I do.
I'll read stuff where there'll be like actiony bits. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, they did the thing, but that's about it. But I actually
Mhm.
laughed out loud during a scene in one of the Steinbeck books I was reading. Just the way he described it was in Cannery Row. They're friends with this guy. They call him Doc, and he pays people for frogs because he uses them to do like tests and stuff on. Keep in mind, animal testing. This was like way back in like early 1900s, so it was what it was. Um, but he paid people for frogs and stuff, and it described these guys who are just like these like not the most intelligent and kind of like you know just doing anything for some quick cash type of people, and just describing them going down to this pond and like trying to get all these frogs. But I think the funniest part to me was the author was actually like describing the thoughts of the frogs. It was funny to me because it had nothing to do really with the books, just like, and the frogs see like this, it felt this way. It's just the way he described it actually made me laugh out loud, which surprised me.
No, when I read a book, I get invested in the storyline to put like books that make me cry before when it gets like a sad scene or like a sweet scene. Like it can make me cry. Same with like films
Yeah.
and dramas. I can cry at it. Like I think was it yesterday I was watching a K drama and a character died and I bawled out. I cried like at the funeral. I cried when like characters on the screen were crying.
Mm-hmm.
I get too invested in them, which is not a bad thing, but not a great thing either. Because yeah, so that's why like I have to go back and forth between like books and dramas when it gets to those sort of things because like I can't be too much in a like a sad thing because it'll make me go really sad.
Yeah.
So I had to take a break from that drama today.
Let me see. You're into Star Wars, right?
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was one that I was actually surprised that they did. It was called Dark Disciple. It was after Clone Wars was initially canceled before they did the season 7 when Disney Plus was a thing.
Oh, another one. Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Disciple was one of the ones that they turned into a novel, which was
Yeah.
going to be a story arc for Clone Wars.
Yeah.
With Asajj Ventress and Voss. Voss something. Quinlan Voss, that was his name. That one was actually, I was surprised because they actually, it didn't feel like a kid's book or anything. If I remember correctly, they actually describe, like, of course they're not going to go into details because Star Wars isn't about, the sexual side of anything. It's just like, oh, fade to black. But I was surprised that they even described like that the characters were intimate in the book because you're used to them from Clone Wars, which they wouldn't have shown that in the show that I would think of anyway.
Oh,
So it
even
was
though it was a
surprising to me
kid?
that they went a little bit more adult with it.
Even though it was a kid show, there were times that show seemed like, is it a kid show?
Yeah, that's one where I feel like they did that to get their foot in the door, but it's a show that's very rare to me because it grew up with its audience.
Yeah, and that's why I loved it.
Which I think more shows should do that. To have it where it starts off, so like we're gonna snag all the kids in this range into our audience, and we're going to actually age it up as it goes, which I think is a great idea to do with shows. Because people can still watch the shows. They're never going to grow out of it. It may be harder to go back and rewatch it because you're going to have the younger moments, but as a continued show, your audience isn't going to grow out of it. They're going to want to keep coming back and like, what's happening now on the show? Yeah, I think that was a good concept that they did. I don't even know that it was fully intentional, but I think they did that kind of to get their foot in the door, to get that Saturday morning crowd. And then they realized, oh, we can actually make this decent. It doesn't have to be dumbed down. Because let's be honest, Ahsoka, everyone hated at first, and then after the years when they're like, Ahsoka's getting her own show, let's go.
Let's go. I need to watch that show still.
Do it. That's good. I actually just saw at the store, they released a steelbook of the first season.
Oh.
I didn't know they were going to do a physical release for it. I
Yeah,
shouldn't have been
think it
surprised
was
because they
just
did for
streaming.
Mandalorian. Yeah. So Bateman, did you read any books this year?
No, I've not really read anything, to be honest.
Did you read a good
Been a bit
magazine?
sloppy. Good magazine.
What about a
but that'd be
graphic
Did you,
novel?
how about a tweet? Did you read a good tweet this year?
lots of Reddit posts, you know.
A graphic novel, that's a book.
Well, I will be reading one very shortly. Yes.
Oh, what's that? I heard you didn't get any good graphic novels this year. Not a
A
one.
little one based on The Hobbit.
No,
But pretty
that
awesome.
looks really cool. Yeah, I hadn't heard. Let me look that up. Is it called
Yeah, it
anything
looks-
special or just Hobbit?
It's the Hobbit graphic novel. You'll find it on Amazon, which I didn't know at the time because I found it in a shop. I didn't realize it was actually online as well. Because I never heard of it before until I saw it. But it
What
is
is-
actually on Amazon now.
What's this? Secret Level. It's a new adult animated anthology series featuring original stories set within the world of some of the world's most beloved video games. That's actually kind of cool. Adding to watch list. Let's see if it's any good later. All right. Is it done as a manga or is it a graphic novel?
graphic novel style.
Does it have a picture of the Fellowship? Well, wait, no. Sorry, it's the Hobbit. Does it have a picture of Gandalf and Frodo standing on a hill with some of the dwarves behind them?
Do you mean Bilbo?
What did I say?
Frodo.
Oh,
Frodo.
I meant Bilbo. Sorry. Big fan.
Big man. It has a picture of basically, I think, the Shire.
Oh, the Shire? This is a different one then.
Let me just double check it.
You can put it on. You can show it the camera so them can see.
Yeah,
Wait, are
Gandalf
these-
and Bilbo at Bag End.
Oh, these are... Okay, this looks like it was done by the same person. I think they just got a different cover for this one.
That's probably the case, yeah.
This one's also significantly cheaper.
It happens usually like UK versus America. It seems to always change covers when it comes to different countries.
Sometimes that could
That way
even
they
be a licensing thing.
It could be as well, actually.
One of the things I found funny is one of the Witcher books. It's the something of time. Give me a second. What the name of the books? Time of Contempt. Is funny to me because in the US it's called Time of Contempt. In the UK it's called The Time of Contempt.
It's kind of like Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stones in the UK, but in America it's the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah. Well, all my Witcher books are UK imports.
All right.
It was cheaper to get them imported from the UK than to buy them in the US.
Okay.
Wow. Fair.
But it's also cool because I have the British version. I also found out that there was I think it was like twin rivers or something like that that were described in the books, and in the old version, I think what happened because they had two different translators for the series, and then they just stuck with one translator for the main series. And I think one of them translated this river to mean one thing, and the other one had translated the other way. And I think in the newer versions, like the newer prints, they went back to the old books and called it the new translation.
I'll be right back.
But it was weird when we were doing the book club, when we got to a part, because as I've mentioned before, I listen to the audiobook when I read, because if I don't, my brain goes everywhere, and then I don't remember the last 15 pages I read. But yeah, I remember in the audiobook it's just like yada yada river, and I was like, that is not what this page says. And then I looked it up, and they're like, yeah, it was changed.
Fair.
So it is cool even just seeing from different times.
That's fair.
There's a Sherlock graphic novel series based off based on this picture. It looks like it's based off of the Benedict Cumberbatch series.
The only Sherlock theory I've ever watched, and it's loosely based on Sherlock, is the American version called Elementary.
I've heard of it.
I've never gotten to Sherlock, but I did like Elementary because it did kind of make a bit more of a twist. I haven't finished it yet, though. But I do recommend it.
Oh yeah, it has Lucy Lewis Watson. I remember
Yes.
hearing of this one. Oh, it
'Cause
has
she's
John Noble
Watson.
in the show.
I recommend it. It's a nice version of it, if that makes sense. Because it is basically Sherlock and Watson, but like different.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I found that was quite a nice series to watch. I did actually. I think I got to like season 5. I need to restart it actually.
Yeah.
But yeah. Otherwise, I never got into the British version of Sherlock.
Sherlock.
Have you seen Elementary?
I have not, no.
It's like the American version of Sherlock. But I do think it's better.
Yeah. I do find it funny looking at some things for casting. How we have quite a few characters who are like American, especially in superheroes. You have like American superheroes being played by British actors. Like you had Christian Bale and stuff like
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, he played Doctor Strange. But I did find it funny when you have the very British detective Sherlock Holmes was played by Robert Downey Jr. It's like, haha, we're taking one of yours now. It's just funny to me.
I quite enjoyed those two films actually.
Oh, they were so good.
No,
I still feel like they have to have a third one coming out because the way they
The way it
ended it was
ended.
him typing because Watson had written the end, and then he put question mark.
Yeah.
but that they must be quite old films now, surely.
Yeah,
I suppose
'Cause-
by I guess they would
I think they
class
were
as old
both
now.
made before Iron Man 3.
You know, 'cause he looks younger in them.
Yes.
I don't
First
think
one was
that.
2009, so that was right after Iron Man.
Oh, okay. I just knew he looked. I just don't see it coming back now because it's been 20 years, unless that's the whole point.
I mean, they would never make sequels to movies that were that old. Definitely wouldn't make a sequel to a movie that's even, 20 years old. Or
Okay,
24 by that
point.
matter.
Oh yeah,
get
no
you.
one ever does that.
Gladiator 2 in theaters now.
There it is.
Okay, I get your point. I just
24
like
years later, they made a sequel to a movie that really did not need a sequel. Don't get me wrong. Good movie. I would still recommend it. Not necessary. But it was good.
I plan to see it at some point.
Uh,
oh,
I'm not in a rush.
yeah, I mean, how many movies, though, did we get sequels to? Die Hard had a huge gap when they made uh, that fourth one. Uh, we're getting a lot of random sequels and
we're not getting the
reboots.
sequels we need. We're
Yeah.
getting random ones. We don't get the sequels we actually need, like Divergent.
I mean, we don't need that needs a whole redo.
It needs a whole redoing. But then I in a way, I'm kind of glad it never finished as a film though, because I know how the books end. So like, I'm like, nah.
Not with a bang, but with a sorry, Cards
Okay,
Against Humanity reference.
I know. Yeah, no, I got quite a lot of books I'm planning to read next year. Like a lot.
Very nice.
Mm.
Yeah, I have some too. We could do that. Do you have any books you're planning to read next year,
Um.
or any you're still trying to finish before the end of the year?
I'm not going to finish before the end of the year because I still don't know which one I'm starting yet. So, but one book series I need to read is Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Another trilogy.
Hmm.
I had a books of Christmas quite a few years ago, and I never got around to reading them. I had them as paperbacks, and I brought hardbacks of the books. They look pretty.
Wow.
Still haven't read them, but I can tell by like the blue and like the reviews, it is my type of books. I don't think I will like them. That makes sense.
Mhm.
But I need to read them. Another book series I need to read is where are they gone now? Oh, the Carnival series.
Don't know that.
You might have heard of the new trilogy because it links because the trilogy I really want to read is Once Upon a Broken Heart, and that's a sequel, but from like a different character from the Carnival series. So I need to read a Carnival before I read Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah. I've heard mixed reviews on Carnival though, but Once Upon a Broken Heart apparently they're really good. So that's why it's taken me a while to get into them because I gotta read a Carnival series, but I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna like it or not.
That's fair.
Mm.
Give me a second. I had a stack of books I want to get through this next year. Let me go grab them and see what they were. You guys keep talking. I just need to pop out of the room for a second. I can still hear it.
Yeah, you're all good.
I think I'm trying to think what else I can suggest with books. What else do I have? A lot of my books are covered up by more books, which isn't helping me. Um, not those, not those. Oh, um, what are they called again? I just saw them a second ago. Oh, one more book I need to read. I finally got the book off. I've seen the film, but I want to read
Oh
the
yeah.
book of it. Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, I love that film.
I got the book of it now. And it's beautiful. It's my favourite film, one of them. But I finally got the book and I was like, I need to read the book of it to see how much was left out of the film. Did that make sense? The film was amazing. But yeah, that's an read I need to do. Do I do that read first, actually? Do I start that now before I read another series? That's the question, because it's a standalone book, see?
Well, if it's standalone, I mean,
It'd be nice to break up a series and just read a standalone. Or do I just
just read them
read
all.
both?
Read them all.
I was going to say, should I just start all the books at once and confuse
Do
my
it.
brain?
Do it.
I might just make a whole new plot of different books and mix them together and make it my own book. That could be a whole different load of copyright issues. And it's that time I do have to actually go. I'll wait for them to come back. Sleepy. One more day of work, then weekend. Then next week's my last week. Then more sleep. What else is there? I know there's quite a lot of series I need to catch up on as well. Oh,
There we go.
Welcome back, Tim.
I am back.
and that's good because I gotta go in a minute.
Oof.
No.
Yeah, I'm
Dem
tired.
has spoken.
Hello,
I need
EJ. How
sleep.
you doing?
I didn't get good sleep last night.
Well, too bad.
You know, it's like when you lie down, but you just can't get comfortable because your back hurt.
Yes,
That's what happened to me last night.
that's called getting older.
Fair point.
This is the one I'm hoping to finish this, to start and finish this next week. Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. That would end the Dragon Tattoo series.
EJ, hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. What else have I got? I want to read Children of Dune.
Nice.
I want to definitely get into a bit of fantasy, so I have Hiding Receipt of Local Bookstore. Okay. I want to read Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. It's a standalone. There is another book in this universe, but they can both be read as standalones. So, down for that. I have Winter of Our Discontent by Steinbeck. It's a smaller one, so it shouldn't be too bad to get through. But one that I really want to get into, because I've heard so much about it over the last few years, I want to read American Gods as a TV show as well. I like going to the used bookstore because it's like, you know, it's like